Welcome to session 2 of the MetaHuman. We're practicing our values. I'm going to put this up. Have a look at this. This is from Harvard University, from a lady called Ellen Langer. What is it that you see? Is there something that you see here? You're not going to fail this, don't worry. It's not a major weird psychometric thing. It's just, what do you see? Okay. So here is a suggestion that this could be a cow, but it isn't really. It's not made to be a cow. It's just drawing a line around something and saying that you either saw it or you didn't. And it's interesting to see all the different perceptions and all the different minds seeing the same thing in different ways. We suggested something that changes the way you see things completely. And this is happening to us all the time. And we can take charge of the lines drawn around things by practicing our values. When we uphold strong ethics and good values, it colors our world, and we see things in a certain way. And if we'd rather choose, say, divisiveness or gossip, we could spend a lot of time drawing lines around people, and then we try to encourage others to see the lines that we have made. And in this way, we can harm how others can see the world. But not keeping our values, our vision of the world might also become skewed by others without us even knowing it. Our entire reality can also change if we decide, if we make a conscious choice to change our reality. It's a big thing, I know. But let's also check in. Here's chocolate. Do you love chocolate? I do. How do you feel about this chocolate? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Are you indifferent? Do you even eat chocolate? So I have a friend, a good friend she's a grandmother. She lost 85 kilograms during lockdown, during the pandemic. And she decided she was addicted to sugar and sweets and cakes. She said no more. And then she started making herself green smoothies and she exercised, she lost 85 kilograms. And even now, if I say, Sanette, here's a chocolate, she'll go, oh no, I don't like that. I don't even like the taste of it anymore. Her entire reality changed because of her values. So what values do you hold dear? And how did you come to those values? How have your values influenced your life? It's very important to be mindful of our values because we may know what they are, but do we check in with them every day? Do we make a practice of observing our values? I was introduced to a practice called the book practice many years ago, and I keep a journal, and every day I'll list maybe 6 values, or maybe just take one value. I want to be honest. I don't want to gossip. And then I'll say, or I want to practice compassion. I want to be authentic, and I'll write that at the top of my book, and I'll say, how have I honored this value today? And I'll write it down. And for example, I found myself, I was gossiping a lot, and I had a PA that would come into my office and she would say, oh, this one is having an affair with that one, and I'd be very interested. But when I started tracking my values, when she came into my office, I said, no, I don't want to know. I'm not interested. And then other people that weren't gossip started to come into my office, and my reality at the office changed. I wasn't gossiping, and I was making friends with nice people. Here's some research from the Wharton University of Pennsylvania. They say that even when actions are blatantly unethical, like cheating, stealing, decision makers can resist acknowledging their own ethical offenses. And in a series of studies by Mazar in, I think it was 2008, they found that as long as offenses are small, minor, decision makers can maintain a positive self-concept of their own morality. And a substantial body of literature suggests that lack of awareness is a critical part of an ethical decision-making process in this research. So we consider how mindfulness then impacts ethical awareness and ethical decision-making. Mindfulness promotes then self-awareness, and greater self-awareness curtails this unethical behavior. It's really fascinating, isn't it? Empirical research then suggests that when people are more self-aware, they are more honest. For instance, Diener and Walblom in 1976 found that participants that were solving anagrams in front of a mirror cheated much less, 77%, than those next to the mirror, 71%. And similarly, being mindfully present and aware of one's thoughts increases one's self-awareness. And this self-awareness could then also enhance our moral judgments. So the metacognitive aspect of mindfulness should raise awareness of one's own self-serving interpretations of ambiguous situations, decreasing the likelihood that then one falls prey to them. Because mindfulness encourages a greater awareness of one's environment, including ethical issues, oneself, including our biases and self-serving cognitions, we can say that a negative relationship occurs between mindfulness and the frequency or likelihood of unethical decision making. Yeah, there's a boxing match going on. According to the theory of that self-concept maintenance, people are willing to forgive their own ethical infractions as long as the infractions are sufficiently small so that they fall below a threshold that does not threaten their self-concept or their self-image, okay, really small. But also, the less aware that individuals are of their decision-making processes, the easier it may be for them to justify larger infractions without harming their self-concept. Mindfulness then raises awareness of one's own thought processes. And thus, greater mindfulness is likely to make justifying larger infractions more difficult in contrast. And less mindful individuals may engage in self-serving cognitions than to allow them to justify those larger infractions without harming their self-concept. And as a result, we expect greater mindfulness to be associated with lesser offenses. So it's just cleaning up our act by being more mindful. There's this thing of tracking, and if you could journal your one value a day would be amazing. So here's a really cool story from a mindfulness teacher in New York. He was working for the diamond industry, and he noticed that the diamonds that were being polished and cut were very poor quality. So everyone got a little notepad, and when they received a diamond from their colleague, they would jot down what the quality of the diamond was. No judgment, no Ted gave it to me, he messed it up, nothing like that. And within a week, the quality of the diamonds improved, and the problem came to an end just by increasing awareness into the environment that they were in around the quality of those diamonds. That's all. No judgment. I love that. Now, thinking about our values, just by journaling or keeping a track of one's conduct, we can bring a healing awareness with that HD definition of mind. So we wake up to what we are doing rather than be a slave of our ignorance. And this can shine a light on our unconscious bias and our afflictive emotions. Okay, it's practice time. Let's really identify what values we hold dear. Do we really know? In order to be that meta-human, this is essential. Join me for that.